Hey guys, Adam here, and in this video, I'm gonna show you 10 marketing skills that are hard to learn, but'll pay off forever. That's a really long time. Because just like compound interest, time spent learning these skills now will continue to pay you back for years and years to come. So let's get to it. Alright, let's start things off with one of the most boring, albeit probably one of the most important marketing skills you could ever hope to learn, and that is market research. You see, the reason market research is such an important skill for you to develop, and one that's going to take so long to essentially acquire, is that knowledge is power, especially when it comes to marketing. In the game of business, it's not the business with the best service or the best product that wins, but rather the business with the best marketing. I wish this wasn't the case. If anything, it's not even fair. But it is what it is, and the fact is that good marketing is the thing that's going to drive more leads, more customers, more clients, and more sales and revenue for whatever business or whatever marketing campaign you're working on. And in order to do this, well, you're gonna need those leads. You're gonna need those customers, which means you're going to need to understand what makes them tick, what it is that's making them make the decisions that they do so that you can influence and persuade those decisions. The goal with market research is actually pretty simple, and it's to try to understand your customers better than they know themselves. I appreciate simple, but not easy. But that's why you want to break it down and really try to dial in an ideal customer avatar, or figure out who exactly it is that you're trying to market to. So when you're forming this representation of who it is that you're trying to reach, you want to sort of build them up in 3 different areas, including demographic details like what is their age and gender and income and occupation, their geographic details like what city or state or province do they live in, and their psychographic details, which what are their values and their attitudes and their lifestyles and their opinions, or any groups or affiliations that they're a part of. More importantly than that though, is you want to try to figure out what are their pains and their problems and their frustrations and all of the things that are keeping them awake at night that they just can't solve. The better that you're able to dial into their pains and their problems and their frustrations, well, the better you're going to be able to communicate that your business is the solution to those pains and problems. So the better you understand them, the better you're going to be able to communicate this. And this is why market research is just so important. All right, one more boring skill. Then we'll get to the fun stuff. This one is all about data analysis, which is essentially the ability to look at all the numbers and look at all the marketing, and then make better and smarter and ultimately more profitable decisions. When it comes to marketing and when it comes to data analysis, you want to test everything and really assume nothing. I couldn't even begin to tell you the number of times that I've written 2 different ads, and I was sure that this one was going to absolutely dominate and crush it, and this one was just a piece of garbage that I was going to put out there to test. Guess what happened? Well, more often than not, the one that I thought was garbage just seemed to absolutely dominate, because as well as I'd like to think that I know my market and I understand what's going to work and what's not, sometimes I'm wrong. But that's okay, because as a marketer, I have the ability to test different things, and then I have the ability to break down the data and make more strategic and better informed decisions moving forward. Ultimately, what this leads to is the ability to create accountable marketing, or marketing that essentially provides some kind of return on investment, or ROI. And when you're able to create marketing that actually delivers revenue and profit for a business, well, you're going to be given a lot longer leash and a lot more of a marketing budget to work with. After all, if somebody gives you $1 and you're able to turn that into $2 back through effective marketing, well, how many dollars are they going to want to give you? The answer is as many as possible, as long as you're able to get that kind of return. And that's the importance of doing proper data analysis and making sure that you're making those smart and educated and essentially profitable marketing decisions. So to help get you started, here's some questions that you could look for, or some data that you could try to break down. Starting with, where are your customers coming from? Are they coming direct to your website? Are they coming through social media, or are they coming through paid advertising? Next, what are they doing with your content and with your competitors' content? Are they watching videos? Are they reading blogs? Are they listening to podcasts? Are there certain pages that they're more interested in, or certain websites that they visit more often than others? And lastly, what else are they doing? Are they clicking through to different pages on your website? Are they visiting certain pages and then leaving, never to return again? These are all questions that you really want to try to find the answers to. Most importantly, this enables you as a marketer to figure out what's working and what's not. So you can do more of what's working and less of what's not. All right, next up, let's talk about content creation, because when it comes to marketing, well, essentially all marketing is content, because anytime that you make a video or write an ad or create a social media post or a blog post or record a podcast or anything like that, it's all content. And your audience or your ideal customers, not to mention the algorithms, they all want more content, lots more content, like tons and tons of content, which is why you really want to develop a content creation strategy and schedule that you can actually stick to. Now, when it comes to content, there's a ton of different kinds you can create, including video content and audio content and all kinds of text content and graphics and things like that. We're going to get to my favorite in just a minute, but first, we need to talk about offers. You see, crafting an irresistible offer is one of the most valuable things, one of the most valuable skills that you can acquire as a marketer. Now, this is one of those things that's easy to understand, but takes a lifetime to master. So let's start with the easy to understand part first. Essentially, crafting an irresistible offer is really just combining two different things. Number one is one of your ideal target market's biggest problems or biggest pains or biggest frustrations that we sort of uncovered and discovered early on when we were doing our market research. And then the second part is matching up that pain with your business's unique solution or product or service or something that's going to enable that market to have that problem solved. That's pretty much it. That is the essence of an offer. Basically, you have this pain, well, I have this solution, so would you like to buy it? Now, obviously, it's a lot more nuanced and a whole lot more detailed than that, which is why it often takes a lifetime to sort of develop the skill to craft an irresistible offer. But you do need to spend a lot of time and a lot of energy, and maybe even a lot of money here, really trying to crack the code on what an irresistible offer looks like for your business. So just how important is an irresistible offer to your business? Well, there's something called the direct response or direct marketing hierarchy, which basically says that the effectiveness of any direct marketing campaign is going to come down to three different elements in these proportions. 40% of the effectiveness of your campaign is going to come down to your market, essentially identifying and locating your ideal target market. Another 40% of the effectiveness of that campaign is going to come down to the offer, essentially the irresistible offer that you're making. And then the last 20% is the copy and the creative, essentially the words that you write and the images, which is normally what gets the vast majority of the focus. But you can see here, it's just worth 20%, whereas 40% is identifying the right people and another 40% of the offer. So clearly, the offer is important. A lot of the marketing campaigns that I audit, whether we're talking about Facebook ads or we're talking about YouTube ads or we're talking about simple email newsletters or anything like that, the vast majority of the time, the reason that the campaign isn't working isn't because of the image or the text or even the targeting, but rather they're not creating an irresistible offer. They're creating resistible offers. Basically, they're making offers that are easy for people to say no to, and you don't want that. All right, let's move on to the next point, which is all about storytelling. See, the reality is that stories sell stuff, period. Facts and numbers and statistics and features, well, those things are important, but they'll only get you so far. You need to tell stories to allow your audience, allow your target market to relate and to understand what things might be like and essentially why they should care. Story is how we, as a human species, well, it's how we communicate. It's how we exchange information with friends and with family members. I mean, just think about the last time that you met up with your friends at the end of the day. Did you say, hey, how's your day? Or, hey, anything cool happen? Or did you say, hey, present to me a statistical, relevant, factual argument on all of the things that happened to you in chronological order so I can make an evaluated, unbiased decision on whether you had a good day or not? I'm gonna guess you didn't do that. Because that's not how people talk, which means that's not how your marketing should communicate. Because essentially your marketing should look like you talk. So on that note, stories are important. You should use them. And moving right along to our next skill, which is none other than video marketing. Now, it's no secret that video marketing, video in general, is one of the single most effective forms of content marketing, not to mention marketing, that you have available to you as a marketer. No matter what study or statistic or fact or article or friend or family that you talk to, pretty much everybody says that they're watching a whole lot more video, which means you should be making a whole lot more video. After all, marketing's job is to give the people what they want. And if they're saying loud and clearly that they want more video, it only makes sense to give the people what they want. You can make short videos for Instagram stories. You can go live on Facebook Live or Instagram Live or YouTube Live, or you could make longer form video content like you're watching right now. None of these is better than others per se, with perhaps a slight edge going to the longer video content hosted on YouTube, but all of them will help you to build trust and to establish authority, and essentially to build a bond and rapport and connect with your audience. Now, I appreciate video is one of those skills that's a bit tricky to learn, but it's one of those skills that you simply can't ignore because it's just too valuable. And it's only getting more valuable. In fact, of all the skills that I'm talking about here today, video may be one of the single most important tactical implementations or adoptions you make into your business or into your career as a marketer. One that's going to pay off not just today, but for weeks and months and years to come. All right, moving on to online advertising. Now, when it comes to getting more attention for your business or your product or your service as a marketer, you essentially have two choices: to pay or not to pay. That is the question. Or in other words, to run online advertising like Facebook ads or Instagram ads or Google ads or YouTube ads or anything like that, or to not, and try to do everything organically. Now, neither is better than the other, say running ads or not running ads, and there are advantages to both, but one of the biggest advantages to running online advertising like Facebook ads or Instagram ads is the speed and the reach with which you can execute them. Basically, by running something like a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or a YouTube ad or anything like that, it allows you to get your message in front of hundreds or thousands or potentially even millions of people in as little as a day. But with great power comes great responsibility, so you can't simply just toss up an ad and expect money to rain from the sky. This is why mastering the previous skills that I've already shared with you, things like market research and data analysis and content creation and video and basically everything, well, all of these are going to play an integral part in creating profitable and effective high-converting online advertising campaigns. All right, moving right along to the next point, which is none other than SEO, or search engine optimization. Now, SEO is easily one of the least sexy aspects of marketing. That and maybe data analysis. Oh, I guess maybe market research too. In fact, there's a lot of things nobody really wants to talk about, which is crazy because market research and data analysis and SEO, well, they can make you a whole lot of money. SEO is the art and science of getting your content or your website or your videos to show up higher in the search engine rankings when a customer or a viewer or a potential prospect is typing something in. For example, one of the ways I was first able to grow my very first digital marketing agency over a decade ago was ranking for terms like digital marketing agency in my hometown, as well as marketing agency and marketing strategy and social media marketing, things like that. And now, applying those same tactics and same strategies to this YouTube channel, well, now on YouTube I rank for terms like marketing and digital marketing, and all of those have helped to really grow the channel. SEO is certainly not easy, and it takes time and patience and a whole lot of technical knowledge to try to build up the right titles and keyword research and tags and descriptions and all the stuff that goes into it. But the rewards are well worth the effort. I mean, just think about it. How would your business change if your website or your videos or your content started showing up in the number 1 or number 2 place for highly competitive search terms in your industry? Next up, we have email marketing. Now, I fought with myself a long time about which skills should go in this spot. I thought maybe I would put retargeting or remarketing, but those are really just variations on online advertising. I thought maybe something about a CRM or customer resource management software, but those really aren't that hard to learn. So ultimately, I ended up deciding on, well, you already know, email marketing. But here's why. The reason I chose email marketing as one of the most important, albeit difficult skills to really learn and master is because email, yes, today is still just as relevant and can be just as profitable as it ever was. Why, you ask? I'll just pretend you asked why. Well, it's because everybody uses email. Everybody. Not everybody watches TV, certainly not cable TV or the kind that you can run commercials on. Not everybody listens to the radio, and even if you did want to use the radio, there's simply way too many stations to try to get in front of. And not everybody reads the newspaper. In fact, I can't think of a single person I know that reads the newspaper anymore. But everybody uses email. A lot. Every day. Multiple times a day. Of course, sending an email to your friends and inviting them out for pizza or to go watch a movie and crafting a high-converting marketing email that results in millions of dollars in sales are two completely different things. But it is a skill that's worth learning and one that will pay off for years, so it had to make the list. All right, of all the skills that I've shared up until this point, there's one single skill that I haven't mentioned yet that is more important than all the previous ones because it's the one that all the previous skills are built upon, and that is marketing strategy. Now, when I'm talking about marketing strategy, what I'm referring to is the ability to take all of the skills that I've just shared with you now and essentially to package them up or to mix and match and to choose the exact specific combination of different skills that are going to be unique to every single different market and industry and business that you work on. You see, it's never the tactics that move the needle, but rather the strategy on which all of the tactics are built. And that's why the very next thing you're going to want to do is check out the video I have linked up right here on Introduction to Marketing. So make sure to check that out now, and I'll see you in the episode. As I fell in love with marketing years ago when I first got interested in figuring out why people buy and act the way they do, and later how to influence and persuade, essentially affect human behavior.